Hi guys, it's Kathy. I hope you're doing well. Donald, it never crossed my mind when I made this clip. It just didn't cross my mind till I saw chat talk about the unfortunate thumbnail I made of this clip. Had it just very unfortunate. I should have thought harder before I did that. It was it was just a clip I got. It had nothing to do with you, nothing at all, but yeah, that was unfortunate. That was not me thinking very clearly. I'm sorry. It was no pun on you, none at all, not even a little bit. Oh, I hope you're doing well, Donald. I hope you're resting. It was very scary. I don't want to see any more pictures. It was very, 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 very scary. I'm working. I'm working hard right now. Apologizing to Donald because I messed up. I thought it was the trees that would get everybody. You know how you guys get about trees because we'll all talk with Mike? I thought you would see the thumbnail and say, "Oh, there's no cutting of trees." That's not where you guys went. You guys went, shh. You guys went way left on that one. And then I realized how easy it was to turn left. Like the road was almost blocked straight ahead. That was me not thinking. Hi, Lacey. Man. Okay. Is Lori here? I'm just checking to see if Lori's here, but it's all right. Lori will catch up. Maiko, I like your idea, Maiko. I like it a lot. Yeah, but no cutting of trees is kind of like what you guys say whenever you hear about a tree. All I have to do is say tree, unless it's is Lori here? Hi, Lori. Lori, I got one for you today. Lori, you're the one that got me in all this trouble. I wanted to get Stanisberry for you. I wanted to make sure I had Stanisberry for you because we haven't in a while. And that's where the car accident occurred, into the trees. And now it looks like I'm making fun of Donald, and I am absolutely not making fun of Donald, period. No. It was an unfortunate mistake on that one. Ooh. All right, I'm going to get through this day, get through this stream. We're going to start with Judge Reese, because you can't get enough of Judge Reese. He doesn't only, okay, you know how Fleischer doesn't do felonies? Judge Reese does pretty much whatever. I think it's because, well, first off, Judge Reese does 6 counties. Sometimes he's in Toombs, sometimes he's in Hale, sometimes he's in Wheeler. He does a whole bunch of counties, and I think he does all of it. I'm not sure though. Misdemeanors and federal is not the word I'm looking for. Felonies. So I got 2, and so my cats are not happy today. It's fine though. They're just mad. They're having a day. Let's get to the first one.
All right, who is this now?
Malcolm Terrell, Your Honor. He's number
Order,
17.
please. Everybody, please be quiet. The acoustics here are such that if anybody's talking, that's all I can hear, and background noise is just really too much. Malcolm Terrell. Mr. Terrell was, you Mr. Terrell?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Pay attention to, well, or at least notice, at least acknowledge their existence, this line of people coming through, because they'll be important in the next clip.
Apparently you were convicted here for deposit account fraud under the First Offender Act back in January of 2023. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
They now allege that you have violated the terms and conditions of your probation You've been failing to report, or you were not at your residence on certain dates when you were supposed to be there, and you failed to report to the unit for 9 months. And you're supposed to be paying restitution, and you've not made any payments at all toward the restitution. And also, you have failed to provide evidence of participation in the substance abuse program. Ms. Carr, does he admit or deny the allegations?
Your Honor, he admits he was essentially homeless. And,
I can give him a home.
well, we already have that taken care of.
I can give him a home.
But, so he admits this, it is his first revocation, and we've been able to work out an agreement based on the fact that right before he was arrested, he was able to obtain a job and is making $26 an hour, and that will go a long way toward paying restitution.
But it would. It's amazing how they always seem to get a job right when they're getting picked up.
Well, that was right when they could find him.
Maybe we ought to, probation, maybe we ought to do that quicker. After the first 2 weeks of not making payments, go ahead and do an arrest on them, and then they'll get a job right quick, and we won't have this problem 2 years later.
It is an incentive. I mean,
It's what?
it would be an incentive.
Well
It would
done,
be an
Judge.
incentive.
Well, what is y'all's recommendation? I guess y'all got some sort of a joint recommendation?
Yes, sir. Based on probation's recommendation, we're just going to give him credit for time served and return him back to regular probation with the instruction that he does need to begin making those payments now that
Or
he has
come
a
back order
job.
3 months?
And that's what I'm saying, a status report
Yeah.
after that to make sure payments have been made and that he's reporting. And I've also told him that if he does get in a situation like this before where he's homeless or he can't really give them an address, he knows where they are. He can go down to them and find them and introduce himself, tell them what's going on. I mean, the main thing is for him not to be missing because he added 186 days to his sentence by this.
Mr. Drell, you
Yes,
need
sir.
to understand, when you were sentenced, the sentence was for 3 years in prison.
Yes, sir.
That was the sentence, 3 years in prison.
Yes, sir.
But you were given the privilege of serving that sentence outside
Yes, sir.
the confines of a prison based on your agreement to do certain things.
Yes, sir.
One of those things was to report to your probation officer. Another of those things was to make this restitution payment.
Yes, sir.
So if you're not going to live up to your side of the agreement,
Yes, sir.
that is to report and pay, then you're going to take away my side of the agreement, which was to let you stay out of prison.
Yes, sir.
And if you're not going to pay and you're not going to report, you might as well be in prison.
Yes, sir.
Then you'll be reporting. You see, reporting will be taken care of.
Yes, sir.
A place to live and food will be taken care of. So you got to live up to your side of the bargain.
Yes, sir, I am.
To suffer those consequences. And it's been almost 2 years, well, almost 2 years into this 3-year sentence.
Yes, sir.
And he got 8 months added to it.
Yeah, and then you got some time added to it when you weren't reporting, but you've got to, I'm gonna have you back here in 3 months.
Yes, sir.
And if you're not reporting and you're not doing what you're supposed to do and you're not making payments on this restitution, then
Yes, sir.
you got the key in your hand to the prison cell. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll prepare an order.
Well, and I'll give you I'll get an order for the status hearing as well.
See again?
I'll present you with the status hearing order for 3 months.
Thank you. Come back, yes.
I like how this judge thinks, guys. I like it. I like it. I got a place for him to stay. All right. Now, remember those people that walked in when we go to the next one.
Well, I ain't gonna be generous if he doesn't start paying because he's running out of time. And that's what they do to him. You see, they'll not pay for a year or two, then they don't have time to pay. You do something for me. All right, this is the matter of Rashada Gilmore. We were here back on the 10th for, all right. We were here on the 10th for the entry of a plea of guilty, which was accomplished at that time. We're now here with regard, and I accepted that plea of guilty. And the state requested that we delay the actual imposition of sentence until the state had a chance to produce victim impact statements and other evidence and have the families of the victim be present. So my understanding that they're here and we're ready to proceed. Is that right?
Yes, sir. They are here. They're behind me on the second and third rows in the courtroom. I've talked with them this morning. They wanted to be present, Your Honor, but they do not wish to make a victim impact statement today. So we're ready to proceed with sentencing.
All right. All right. Mr. Gilmore, I've previously accepted your plea and have found that it was a knowing, willful, intelligent entry of a plea of guilty, so that's already been done. The recommended sentence in this case is life with the possibility of parole, and then counts 2 and 3 will be non-pros, and I'm assuming they would merge as a matter of law anyway.
Yes, sir.
Or whatever that terminology is. They would be
Just turn the shower on. Just turn the shower on and hold him. Not in the shower. Just kidding, you're a nurse, you know.
gone as a matter of law. So that would be the normal course, given the felony murder charge based on the armed robbery and the possession of a firearm. So it'll be the judgment of the sentence of the court that you'll be sentenced to a term of life in prison with the possibility of parole. Now, you have been sentenced to a time incarcerated, and it's a violation of the law to escape. If you were to escape, you could then be prosecuted for the new offense of escape and can receive an additional 1 to 10 years in the penitentiary. If a dangerous weapon were to be used by you or others in that escape, you could get an additional 1 to 20 years in the penitentiary. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
This is a felony conviction. You have a period of 4 years within which to petition the appropriate court for habeas corpus relief. If you'd like to know more about habeas corpus relief, I'm sure your attorney, Mr. Payne, will be glad to explain that to you. Anything else that needs to be done in this matter?
No, Your Honor.
All right, very well. They'll be preparing an order for me to sign, and once that's order signed, he'll be ready to be transported
you,
to
Fozzie.
the Department of Corrections for this
Sandra,
serving out his
KS.
sentence. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You got everybody.
Anybody know what happened to Ms. Wilson? Anybody know what happened to Ms. Wilson?
So there you see, he does murder trials too. And he just sentenced that person to life. Ooh. And all the family was there to watch it happen. All right. Now it's time for the unfortunate thumbnail title. Lori, here we go. He's getting ready for winter, he is.
All right, Mr. Casais, again, sir, make sure you
This is
continue to
not
report to
right.
probation
This is the
as
wrong
directed
clip.
and
I
make all
have
the
the wrong
appointments so they can.
clip. No. Why do I have Fleischer? Why? I know we loved him that one time, but all of his courts since that one time we had Judge Fleischer were not good. All right,
All right, Mr. Casais, again, sir,
I'm gonna put Fleischer on while I go upstairs and get the correct clip. I can't believe I got the wrong clip. Cha's here. Every time I'm very professional, Cha shows up. Cha, hi. Okay. I'm gonna put Fleischer on, and then I'm gonna go get the clip with the car. Bam. Hey, Judge. How you? Who's this? Do we know him?
Need a translator?
No, Judge. Good morning. You're all the public funds.
You are Jose Arondo.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Arredondo, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. First offense, it's elevated to a Class A misdemeanor because of the high blow. You are facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. Officers observed the defendant's vehicle swerving between lanes and drifting onto the shoulder of the highway for several hundred feet. A traffic stop was initiated. The officers observed a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage, glossy eyes, and slurred speech. The officer asked the defendant to exit the vehicle, and the officer observed poor balance. The defendant admitted to drinking 3 to 4 glasses of whiskey plus 2 beers. When asked if the defendant had any physical defects that could affect his balance, he stated that he was inebriated. Standard field sobriety test conducted. HGN was 6 out of 6. Walk and turn was 8 out of 8. One leg stand was 4 out of 4. The DIC was read and breath was consented to. The results were 0.264 and 0.252.
Kidding. I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm ordering you now as a condition of your bond. You are not allowed to drive any vehicle that doesn't have an ignition interlock on it. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
If I find that you drive any vehicle that doesn't have an interlock, if I find that you consume alcohol, I'm going to lose it. Do you understand?
Yes,
And
Your
if
Honor.
that happens to me, it's going to happen to you, and I'm going to keep you. No more PR bonds for you, Mr. Arredondo. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. And yes, Your Honor.
Does he have a valid Texas driver license?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have valid liability insurance in your name.
Yes, Your Honor.
He does not have access to the car at this time, Judge. The transmission's gone out. He's not gonna have it for, I think it's my understanding, at least another couple weeks,
Mhm.
right?
Yes,
Judge,
He
can you?
gets a scram. I'm going to put a scram on his ankle. He's got, just had one dismissed. Now he's got a 0.26. I'm putting a scram device on your ankle so I know that you're not consuming alcohol. It detects alcohol through perspiration, so be careful whatever you put in your body. If I find that you consume alcohol, if the battery goes dead, so will you. I'm going to revoke your bond, put you in jail. No more PR bonds. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
That means no NyQuil, no mouthwash, anything that has alcohol in it, don't put it in your body because I'm going to keep you. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you have a
She's
problem
annoying.
with drugs or alcohol, you better address it because if you don't and it becomes a problem, I'm going to do it for you. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
You can waive the fee, guys. I mean, giving you, today, you will have that ankle monitor on. It needs to be charged on a daily basis. Don't let it go dead. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
In the meantime, you will be signing an affidavit with me, promising me that you're not going to drive. Above all else in this short life that we have, do not get into a car and drive. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
We are sending notice to DPS now that any officer that pulls you over, they know you are not allowed to drive a vehicle that doesn't have
Me
an
too.
ignition interlock. So if you're caught driving a vehicle that doesn't have an interlock and they pull you over, they're going to put you in jail. So don't drive until you get permission from me. At that point, once you have an interlock, you can drive. But until we approve you here, do not drive. Not anyone else's car. I don't care what your excuse is. If there's an emergency, a burning building, doesn't matter. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have a lawyer. It's your responsibility to stay in touch with Joseph. He will tell you when you have court. If he tells me that he can't get a hold of you because you're playing games, then likewise, I will revoke your bond. He will take care of you. He's a great lawyer. Listen to him. Otherwise, things are not going to go well for you. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Please. Thank you, sir.
Judge,
No, Victoria, it's not your turn. Just wait. Oh, she's gonna punch me for that one. Yeah, I did. I went to Houston and I like come up to Fozzie's chin. Like I'm like this tall. Yeah. All right, Lori, I got it. It was here the whole time. I'm just stupid. I mean, yep, I got to eat a Texas steak in Texas, drink a couple beers in Texas with Fozzie, with Donald, with Shatora, with Victoria, with Ramona, with ATX Alley. It was so good. Hey, Jamie. All right, we're coming right back to Judge Fleischer. Don't worry, but we got to do the car case first. We got to do the car case because I don't know. I like it. It's nothing crazy. It's just good. Oh, speaking of good, if you haven't watched the last video I put out with that voices, can judge stop the voices or something, you should watch it. It's really good. I barely talk at all in it. Don't worry. But after she reads her letter, she starts describing the mental health issues she's going through, and it is really good. I'm telling you, it's really good. You should watch it. Here we go.
Woolsey. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and call the Braden Donahue case. It's 24 TRD 6649. You're Mr. Donahue, sir? Yes, sir. Go ahead and have a seat there at the table if you would, please. And we're gonna, the record should reflect that we're on the record in case number 24 TRD 6649. State v. Donahue. The defendant is present in the courtroom without counsel. Mr. King is here on behalf of the state of Ohio. The defendant is charged with both a seatbelt violation as well as failure to maintain reasonable control and also failure to remain at the scene of an accident, also known as hit skip. Mr. King, is the state ready to proceed today? Yes, Your Honor. And the court would note that the state has filed a motion to amend the traffic citation from violation 4549.02 to 4549.03, just to more accurately reflect what the charge is.
Correct.
The court's going to go ahead and grant that motion. And Mr. Donahue, are you ready to have your trial today?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, you have a right to be represented by an attorney, and because you face a first-degree misdemeanor charge of hit skip, which carries up to 180 days in jail, up to a $1,000 fine, and a mandatory license suspension between 6 months and 3 years, you have the right to be represented by an attorney at no cost if you qualified. Did you wish to have an attorney in this matter, or did you wish to give up that right?
No, Your Honor.
Now, the benefit of having an attorney is somebody who can advise you of any defenses that you might be able to argue, motions that could be made on your behalf to improve your circumstances.
He will explain hit skip.
And in general, try to get you the best possible outcome. Is it your intention to give up that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And representing yourself, I have to treat you like I would Mr. King here, who of course has a law degree and 30 plus years of experience. So I can't give you advice. I can't.
Donald Westerdale got into an accident when he was 20 minutes away from his home from Texas. So drove 15 hours, no problem, almost home, and he blacked out. And he totaled his truck and his trailer. His bicycle is fine. Donald is fine. He went to the hospital, got checked out. He has to do a neurological scan before he's allowed to drive again. But the insurance covers the truck and the trailer. And he has some pictures of the trailer in Discord, but he's okay. He's just rattled, very rattled. So hopefully sleeping. Lots of sleep. He said he didn't feel tired at all. He does 12-hour drives all the time, and he said he didn't even feel tired at all. So, but he is okay. He is okay.
Tell you how to proceed. So it is not a very good decision to represent oneself, but you do have that right. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. It is necessary if you do decide you want to waive your right to an attorney, which of course you're not required to do. But if that is your decision, it's required that that be done in writing. So the bail is going to provide you with a form entitled attorney waiver. I want you to actually read it because I'm going to ask you if you did. And if it is your decision, go ahead and sign by the X. Need a pen? And the court will grant the state's motion to amend.
Give up that lawyer, dude. You don't need no lawyer. Too soon
Right, so
is
Mr. Donahue, did you
never
read the
going
form?
to be over.
Yes, Your Honor.
No.
Did you sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
And it is your
Absolutely
intention to waive
not.
your right to a lawyer?
Yes, Your
All
Honor.
right, Ms. Kyle, if you'll go ahead and cause that to be file stamped, please. And once that happens, we'll go ahead and have the state call its first witness. In fact, let's go ahead and do that while she's doing that.
Okay, it'd be David Woolsey.
Sir, if you want to, is that you, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, if you want to come forward, please. Just step up onto the platform there and then turn and face me and raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, please be seated. For purposes of our record, I need you to state your full name and spell your last name.
David Lee Woosley, Woolsley.
And state your full address, please.
4293 Riley Road, Johnstown, Ohio.
Thank you, sir. You may inquire, Mr. King.
Thank you. Sir, do you know a James Brown?
Yes.
And you don't live at that address, correct? Do you live with him?
No,
Okay.
no.
Where do you live in relationship to?
Across the road from,
Across the road? Okay. And do you happen to know a Braden Donahue?
yes, sir.
And is he in the courtroom today?
Yes, sir.
And point him out to the judge, if you would. You pointed the gentleman at the other table.
Yes.
Okay, if the record reflects he's identified the defendant.
It will so reflect.
And the address that you live at across the street, is that in Bennington Township, Licking County, Ohio?
Yes.
And I want to call your attention to August 3rd, 2024. Did you witness an accident?
Yes.
Why don't you tell the court what you saw?
I saw Braden coming down the road. Well, I heard him hit our ditch. And then I looked out and I seen his car slide across the road and hit a tree.
Okay. And that would be a tree on Mr. Brown's property?
Yes, sir.
And could you get a sense of how fast Mr. Donahue was traveling?
I have no idea. He slid, there's skid marks a long way.
Okay. And he was onto your property first and then across the roadway into a tree?
Yes.
Is there a ditch between the roadway and the trees that he hit, if you recall? If you recall.
I can't recall.
Okay. And so after the collision, what did you then observe?
I went outside and was trying to figure out what was going on, and I seen a tractor coming out of, I guess it's Lisa's driveway, and hooking to the car and dragging the car back to the barn.
Okay. And that was the car that hit the tree?
Yes, sir.
It had been pretty heavily damaged, had it not?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry,
At
the
any
car or
point,
the tree?
pardon?
The car or the tree was damaged.
The car was damaged and it knocked the top out of the tree. Both of them were damaged.
Thank you, sir. Sorry, Mr. King, go ahead.
Yeah, I should have clarified. One tree was snapped off.
Yeah.
And one tree had the dent in it, like from the impact.
Yeah. Yes.
Any idea how fast the defendant was going at the time of impact?
No, sir.
Okay. So did you ever see, following the accident that you heard, did you ever see Mr. Donahue go up and speak to anyone at Mr. Brown's residence?
He did not go up to their house. They come out to the road and was talking. Yes.
Okay. They came out. Do you know whether they got any sort of information from him or anything of that nature?
No, sir.
And at one point in time, were medics called?
Yes.
And they then left?
Yes.
And do you know where the tractor, who was on the tractor to haul the car away?
Braden.
and hooked a chain. How far did he go to remove the vehicle?
I suppose it's 200 yards back to the barn.
How about to the driveway?
To whose driveway?
The driveway that the tractor came from, not
Oh,
into the barn, but to the driveway.
maybe 100 yards.
Okay. Okay. And what else did you observe Mr. Donahue doing?
He was just running. You know, he ran back to the barn. He was in his stocking feet. Just
Was he yelling, screaming, threatening people?
he at the end, yes, sir. He was yelling at people. He just kept saying he wanted to get it cleaned up before the sheriff got there.
Okay. And who was he yelling at? Do you know the individuals' names?
I can't think of their son, Veronica's sons.
Okay, well, whether you know their name or not, they had come out to the,
Oh,
to the
yes.
scene as well to look at it. Was it a loud collision?
Yes.
If I may approach.
You may.
Let me hand you what are marked for identification purposes at plaintiff's exhibit number 1. You may not be able to identify, but can you identify that vehicle?
No, sir.
Oh, no? Okay,
I can't.
good enough. I have no further questions of this witness.
All right, so Mr. Donahue, you have a right to ask Mr. Woosley questions if you have any, although you're not required to. Do you have any questions for him?
No, Your Honor.
Sir, you may step down. Is this witness excused?
He is, Your Honor.
You're free to leave, or you can remain in the courtroom and watch the rest of the trial if you like. Thank you. Your next witness?
James Brown.
Mr. Brown, if you'll come forward and be sworn, please.
Do you solemnly swear or do you affirm that the testimony about the gives the truth, and nothing but the truth, under penalty of perjury? Please have a seat. For the record, give your name and spell your last name.
James E. Brown, BROWN.
Okay.
And your address, please.
4300 Riley Road, Johnstown.
All right, thank you, Mr. Brown. You may inquire, Mr. King.
The address that you just gave, is that in Bennington Township, Licking County, Ohio?
Bennington, yeah.
And then prior to August 3rd, did you know an individual, by the name of Braden Donahue? Did you know who he was?
I know of him, yeah.
Okay. And in relationship to your house, where did he live? Not the address, but was he 3 doors down, a mile down?
I got a picture of, here, I'll show you.
Well, Mr. Brown, if you could just answer the question. Is he like catty corner from your property, next, on the same side of the road?
He's behind me and over about 100 yards, 100 yards back and then 100 yards to the east of where I'm at.
Okay, you don't need to pull out your phone then. You're good.
Yeah. Between your driveway and the driveway getting access, what would the distance be?
I'd say 100 yards.
Okay. And then another 100 back to the barn area. Okay. And I want to call your attention to August 3rd, 2024. You did not witness an accident, correct?
No, I heard it. I couldn't see.
Linus is coming to Houston. We're going to see Linus in court getting arrested on November 8th. I know what month we're in. November 8th, guys.
For the trees, and then I was sitting in the garage. There was 2 vehicles in front of me there.
So you were home?
Yeah.
You heard it?
Yeah.
Was it a loud bang?
Yeah, you could hear the crunching of the metal.
Okay.
Tires going, and they locked them up.
And at any point in time, did Mr. Donahue ever come up to you and explain the situation or anything of that nature? No. Did he ever provide you any information Did you go down to the scene of the
Yeah, I
accident?
walked down there, yeah.
Did he provide you any information at that point in time?
No, I didn't talk to him.
Okay. So what happened? You were down at the scene. First off, did he cause any damage to your property?
Just the tree I cut down, that was it.
Okay. As a matter of fact, one tree was snapped and one tree had the dent where the car hit it.
Yeah.
Okay. And you cut the one snapped tree
It was
off.
splintered, it was splintered real bad, so
Okay.
that's why I cut it down.
Okay. And that was on your property?
Yeah.
Maybe replaced it just out of curiosity or just leave it. So what happened after you went down there? What did you observe, for example, Mr. Donahue doing?
He hooked up the tractor and drug the car through the soybean field and up their driveway to the pole barn.
And at some point in time, were you around when medics arrived?
They went next door, so I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I was there, yeah. It was dark then.
Yeah, this happened about 8:35.
Lori's
in the
husband,
evening.
Lori.
Does that sound about right?
Yeah,
Okay.
somewhere around there.
Getting dark.
Yeah, it was just starting to get dark then.
Okay. And did you also ever come into contact with any law enforcement officials?
I talked to, give a statement to him.
Okay. And him pointing to the trooper sitting beside me?
Yeah.
Okay. Did he ask you about any information that had been provided to you, if you recall?
I just gave him my license and he asked me if I was the owner.
Okay.
That was pretty much it.
Okay. And you weren't provided any information at any point in time that day?
No, it's just what I seen, that was it. Like I said.
Nothing further.
Mr. Donahue, do you have any questions for Mr. Brown?
No, Your Honor.
Court actually does. Mr. Brown, did you know who he was at the time?
I'd never seen him up close. He was always like 100 yards or farther away. So I knew who he was. That was it.
Okay.
I couldn't identify him in the lineup.
Did you know where he lived?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he was staying over there.
And so you were familiar with who he was?
Yeah.
Not necessarily maybe his name or anything else? Okay.
Yeah, I knew his name.
Oh, you did know his
That
name.
was it.
Okay. And you knew where he could be located? But if
Yeah.
you needed to talk to him?
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. King, anything further based on the court's questions?
No, Your Honor.
Any questions based on my questions, Mr. Donahue?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Brown, you may step down. Thank you, sir. Is this witness excused?
Yes.
And you're free to leave, sir, or if you want, you can stick around and watch the rest of the trial.
I'm good.
All right. You have a good day.
Thanks.
Your next witness, Mr.
Trooper
King.
Taylor.
Trooper, please come forward and be sworn.
I solemnly swear to you from the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury. Please have a seat. Trooper, for the record, give your name and spell your last name
Colt Taylor, Taylor,
and the address of your post.
3855 Alville Road, Granville, Ohio.
You may inquire, Mr. King.
Thank you. Trooper Taylor, you're employed by the State Highway Patrol.
I am.
Were you so employed back on August 3rd, 2024?
I was.
Recall what shift you were working that day?
Third shift, a hybrid shift. I started at 8 o'clock.
8 p.m.?
Yes, sir. It's at 6 a.m.
Okay. And at any point in time, were you dispatched to an accident scene?
I was.
Where was that accident scene at? Do you recall?
On Riley Road at a, I can't remember the address, but it was at a specific address.
Okay. Would that have been Mr. Brown's address? Do you
Yes, sir.
recall? Okay. And when you got there, what if anything, did you observe?
I observed damage to both sides of the roadway and a tree on the north side of Riley Road.
Okay. And on the one side, would that have been Mr. Woolsey's address?
Yes, sir.
And you got a statement from him?
Yes, sir.
And then across the other side was the snapped off tree in the dent?
Yes.
And what distance was there? Were you ever able to determine the distance?
Yes. The information will be in my crash statement. I believe there was around 150 feet of measurements just as far as the car and speed.
Were you actually the real cause of this? Did you do this? When you saw the trooper, were you like standing across the street saying, I did this?
ditch and then across the roadway into the other north side of
The
the road.
total
Yes,
ditch
sir.
to across the roadway. What's the speed limit on that roadway?
Yeah.
Do you know?
It's not posted, so 55.
55? And at some point in time, did you make contact with Braden Donahue?
I did.
Is he in the courtroom today?
He is.
Point him out if you would.
He's wearing a gray long sleeve shirt.
Okay. And I should have asked you, you were on duty. Were you dressed in the uniform of the day, similar to what you're wearing now?
I was.
Operating a plainly marked highway patrol cruiser with all required markings, lights, including the working overhead light bar?
I was.
And when you made contact, where did you make contact with Mr. Donahue at?
At his residence, I believe his stepmother's residence.
Okay. And what did you observe?
I observed, the first thing I observed was the.
Yeah, I was muted. Bobby, I told everybody about that video that you showed me yesterday with the robbery girl. I don't know how many people watched it, but I went on Facebook after that and there was more to the story. And her life just after she got arrested.
Crashed vehicle, I believe a Volkswagen, black Volkswagen.
Is there a photograph up there?
There is.
You took photographs of the vehicle.
Yes, sir.
Can you identify plaintiff's exhibit 1?
Yes.
And what is that?
I believe, once again, it's a Volkswagen Jetta. It's either a Volkswagen Jetta or Volkswagen Passat, but yes, this
Okay.
is
That was
Mr. Donahue's vehicle.
Okay. Registered to him?
It was,
if you recall.
the title was going through probate court. I'm not for sure. I believe it was still titled to his deceased grandfather, I believe. But
Okay.
yes, I believe he had permission to drive the vehicle.
All right. Did you ask him if he had been driving and involved
Yes.
in the accident?
Yes.
Finally approach, Your Honor.
You may.
Plaintiff's exhibit number 2. Can you identify that?
I can.
What is it?
This is the more interior of the vehicle. This would be the airbag deployment from the said vehicle.
And those photographs truly and accurately reflect what you had observed back on the date and time in question?
Yes, sir.
Did you ask the defendant what happened?
I did.
And what did he tell you?
He stated he was traveling eastbound on Riley Road, and he stated that he observed deer in the roadway, and at which time he locked the brakes up and then lost control of his vehicle.
Okay. And that was the 150 feet we had talked about earlier?
Roughly, yes.
And did he ever give an estimate of speed?
The speed was back and forth. I believe he initially stated he was traveling around 50-ish. He then stated later on that he could have been going between 60 and 65-ish.
Okay. Did you ask him about whether or not he was wearing a seatbelt?
Yes.
What did he say?
No.
And did you ask him whether or not he had provided any information to the property owner who owned the trees?
Yes.
What did he say?
No.
And did he say why?
He stated that he was under the impression that he could work it out later.
Work it out later?
Yes, sir.
Did he ever claim to have gone up and provided him with any information?
No.
And was he ever able to provide you with any information, such as whether he was insured or not?
No.
Let's take a written statement from the defendant.
Yes.
If I may approach again, Your Honor.
You may.
Getting you want to mark for identification purposes as plaintiff's exhibit number 3. Can you identify that document?
Yes, this would be the crash statement that I received from him.
Okay, and it consists of what? Questions and answers?
Questionnaire and answers from Mr. Donahue, yes.
Okay. And what were the questions? What were his answers to them?
I asked him what happened, and do you want me to read his
Yeah.
answer? He stated he was going too fast. He saw 3 deer in the roadway. He stated he then slammed on the brakes and slid sideways into a tree off of the roadway. I asked him if he was injured. He stated no. I asked him if he was wearing a seatbelt. He stated no. I asked him if he was distracted. He stated no. I asked him how fast he was going.
Dearest Arto, happy birthday. Happy late birthday. Yay, everybody. Go in comments. Say happy birthday to Arto.
And once again, this is an ongoing question. Just because I don't believe he was being truthful the first time I asked him. He then stated later on that he was going between 60, possibly going between 60 and 70 miles per hour. I asked him what the speed limit was on the roadway, if he knew the speed limit, and he stated he did not know. I asked him why he did not call 911. He stated he didn't believe he had to. He thought he could resolve the issues with his neighbor's property. I asked him if he was cleared with no injuries by EMS, because I was advised by, as far as my dispatch, that the EMS had left the scene without making contact, and he stated that he was cleared by EMS. So also his stepmother did also state that EMS did show up and check him out.
Okay. And how far, what was the distance between the roadway that Mr. Brown accesses and the driveway that the defendant would have been turning into?
Roughly 100 to 120 yards within that range.
Okay. I may have just a moment, Your Honor.
You may.
So he didn't even provide you with any sort of insurance information?
No, sir.
Was that because he didn't have any, or he wasn't aware of it?
I believe, once again, he stated he thought he had insurance, but just with the dilemma with the vehicle going through, I'm assuming probate court, because that's what he stated, and when someone's deceased, it makes sense. I believe he either hadn't received the information from the vehicle, or he just did not have insurance, one or the other.
Okay. And 60 to 70 miles an hour, what kind of a roadway is that?
So it's obviously just a residential roadway. It's not a highway. It's not a state route. This is a roadway that.
It's about to get better, because this guy's about to get down and the defendant is about to get up on the stand. And that's the cutest part. The whole thing is cute from beginning to end.
Really need to have due regard to obstacles and just the roadway itself. It's not a very wide roadway. It's not a safe roadway to travel at a high rate of speed.
Which he admitted to traveling.
Yes.
So what did you end up citing him for?
Hit skip, fleeing the scene of an accident without exchanging information. According to the ORC, it basically states if you have contact, you need to provide that information when you have contact with the individual. He had contact with the individual. He was exchanging words with them from the roadway, according to their verbal statement. Failure to control and not wearing a seatbelt.
Okay. The failure to control, was he going too fast?
Yes.
Deer have anything to do with it?
No. There was no evidence of a deer anyway.
Okay. I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Mr. Donahue, do you have any questions for the trooper?
No, Your Honor.
Trooper, you may step down. Thank you. Any additional witnesses on behalf of the state?
None at this time, Your Honor. I would offer into evidence plaintiff's exhibit 1 and 2, which are the photographs, as well as 3.
Okay. I have 1 and 2. Did you have a 3?
Yeah, the 3 would have been the defendant's statement.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, I may not have referred to it as an exhibit number.
Are you offering 3 as well?
Yes.
Okay. So, Mr. Donahue, the state is asking me to admit those exhibits into evidence. If I grant that request, that means I can consider those in determining whether or not the state has met its burden of proof. Do you have any objection, or are you against me admitting those into evidence?
No, Your Honor.
All right, very well. States 1, 2, and 3 will be admitted without objection. And does the state rest?
We do, Your Honor.
All right. So, Mr. Donahue, you have a right to, as you sit there, I presume that you're not guilty. It's always the prosecution's burden to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You're not required to call any witnesses, introduce any exhibits or evidence into the record, and you're not required to testimony, nor can you're not required to testify, nor can anybody force you to do so. And the decision not to take the witness stand cannot be held against you in any way. You do, however, have a right to call witnesses, to introduce exhibits or evidence into the record, and to testify on your own behalf. If you elect to do that, you are required to swear or affirm to tell the truth, and you'll be required to answer any questions that the prosecutor might have for you after you're finished giving your side of the story. So other than yourself, do you have anybody else you want to call as a witness?
No, Your
And
Honor.
do you wish to testify on your own behalf?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then please come forward and be sworn.
All right, here we go, guys. This is the good part. It's so cute.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth and nothing but the truth? Go ahead. For the record, give your name and spell your last name.
It's Braden M. Donahue, Donohue.
And your address.
My current address is 2438 Northridge Road, Alexandria, Ohio.
All right, so Mr. Donahue, there's no lawyer to take you through your testimony, so you just give me your side of the story and you can start whenever you're ready.
I mean, Your Honor, basically, I can't argue with the seatbelt ticket and the failure to control. I'll plead guilty to both of those. Like I said, there's really no arguing that, especially, you know, with Trooper Taylor in this statement. But the hit skip, you know, basically right where the property line is between the 4300 and the 4240 or 4260 Riley Road was kind of a fine line. And, you know, where I'd hit that tree, my car, like you said, skipped about 150 feet from the initial ditch on Mr. Woosley's side to Mr. Brown's side. By the time I hit the tree, I'd already slid over onto would be my stepmom's property at the 4260 Riley Road. That's when I had taken the tractor and just cleaned up my mess. Like I said, I'm not here to, I plead guilty to the seatbelt ticket and the failure to control. Like I said, I can't argue with that, but the hit skip, I would rather not have. You know, if I can do anything I can to avoid that. I drive for a living. I kind of need my license. Super important.
All right, anything else you want to add?
No, Your Honor.
Any questions, Mr. King?
Why were you trying to get it cleaned up?
Well, I mean, I didn't want to leave car parts in my neighbor's yard or strung across the bean field that she rents to another farmer. I mean, that would be the right thing to do. Would be
Well,
pick up
wouldn't
your
the right
mess.
thing to do would have been notified the authorities that you were in an accident?
I was on my own property from what I gathered.
Well, you since know that actually it was Mr. Brown's trees that were damaged.
Correct.
I mean, you're not disputing his ownership, are you?
No.
And that vehicle didn't have insurance, did it?
It did.
It was never shown to either Mr. Brown or the trooper?
It was never asked to be shown to Mr. Brown. Like I said, even Mr. Brown stated we really had no contact whatsoever.
Did you know who he was?
Yeah, we've been neighbors for about 15 plus years.
But not really friendly, right? You don't socialize together or anything, do you?
No.
And what were you speaking to Mr. Brown about?
I'm sorry?
What were you speaking to Mr. Brown
Mr.
about?
Brown and I really have not exchanged any words.
Why were you running around yelling at people? Mr. Woosley indicates that you were running around yelling at people who had come out because of the collision.
Mr. Brown's wife had come out and asked, do I need my husband to humble you? And with kind of a rude sort of tone, never asked if I was okay or what had happened. And I had kind of snapped back, and that was, I guess, got loud with her.
Did you provide her with any information?
It's never asked.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Is there anything you'd like to add to your testimony based on the questions that the prosecutor asked you?
No, Your Honor.
Then you can go ahead and retake your seat. Thank you. And you have no other witnesses, correct?
No, Your Honor.
So do you rest your case?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Any testimony or evidence in rebuttal, Mr. King?
No, thank you.
All right. Did the state wish to make any argument?
We rest on the evidence, Your Honor.
Anything you want to say before I render a decision here?
Would you like my husband to come humble you?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay. Based on the evidence and testimony that the court's heard today on the seatbelt violation, the court's going to enter a guilty finding. On the failure to control charge, the court's going to enter a guilty finding. And on the hit skip charge, the court's going to enter a not guilty finding. That being said, Mr. Donahue, is there anything you want to say before I decide what your fine should be on the seatbelt and the failure to control?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. King, anything further? And obviously, Mr. Brown was present
Right,
in
he
here.
was excused.
He's been advised.
Yeah, and he
excused.
did not claim any restitution. I do know that.
All right. Okay. So the court's going to go ahead and impose a fine of $30 on the seatbelt violation, $25 fine on the failure to control. The citation itself reflects that no insurance was shown, and the defendant indicated the vehicle was insured. He's going to need to show that to the clerk's office before. Since there was an accident, I can't just take your word for it. It's not that I disbelieve you, but you need to.
I mean, I have an SR22, so I really can't go without insurance.
Sure.
If that
You said you
helps.
drive for a living. What do you do?
I own my own dumpster rental company, so I have a bunch of roll-off bins, and then I don't know if you've ever heard of like hot shot trucking.
I have not.
It's basically like I haul cars all over the state or certain things like equipment transport, really all kinds of stuff.
So the property that we were talking about was your mom or your stepmom's, right?
Correct. So,
But you live in Alexandria?
yeah, so
with
she
whom?
has a building that I rent, and that's where I run my business out of.
And who do you live with on Northridge Road?
My mother.
Okay, all righty. Okay, well, the the bailiff's going to take you to the clerk's office where they're going to tell you exactly how much your fines and costs are combined. And if you can pay it all off today with all that big dumpster hotshot money you've got, great. If you need a little time, we'll give it to you. Do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Anything further, Mr. King?
No, Your Honor.
All right, court stands in recess. Thank you.
Big dumpster hot shot money you got. Judge, how do you really feel about him making good money with a dumpster? I bet he makes a lot of money hauling stuff. I know when I need stuff hauled, I'll pay whatever I have to because I can't do it myself. All right, guys, now we'll go to Judge Fleischer again. It's always good to have a lot of Judge Fleischer, especially on a Friday. Isn't he? Yeah, maybe. I mean, I guess if someone ran into my non-existent tree, I would probably, not be pleased. I bet I would be fine. All right, it's just a tree. Yes, Lori did. She left out hot.
We're waiting on the Spanish interpreter for council. So next is page 4, Cormier, Jacoby.
The lawyer was rude.
You swear that you will not be doing your word without violence, disrespect, and the proof.
Vic, what page?
4, top of page 4.
Got it. Stephen, I need your help. Mr. Cormier, right?
Yes, sir.
You have 2 felony warrants for your arrest now.
Alone. He's in
2 felony warrants for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, 1 for aggravated assault of a family member, 1 for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. You've made bond on our interference case, but looks like they just filed on 10/10, which was about 8 days ago, 2 felony assault cases, so we have to take you into custody. You do have a lawyer coming today?
Yes.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to verify that the warrants are valid. If they are valid, I have to take you into custody. You're being held at that right now at no bond. So at some point you'll get in front of a magistrate, and I don't know if they'll set you a bond, but I'll have you talk to your lawyer today as well. Okay? Goes with you.
I didn't see one earlier, so.
All right, page 6.
Do you see 2 felony
Come on
warrants?
up.
Do you see? Yeah, I see 2 felony warrants.
They look like they're not. Page 6, Diaz.
Okay. Are you Tanya? Is it Tanya Diaz? Ms. Tanya Diaz, you're charged with assault bodily injury, you're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, ma'am.
Officers were dispatched to a Walmart in Harris County, Texas in response to an assault. The complainant stated he was working on a construction project in the Walmart parking lot and was directing traffic. The defendant became upset because he directed her to go around the construction site. The defendant got out of her car, yelled at the complainant. A few minutes later, the defendant returned and began arguing with the complainant. The complainant began recording the defendant on his phone, and the defendant hit the complainant's hand, leading him to hit his cheek with his phone, causing pain. Parking spot, Your Honor.
Yes, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to have any contact with the complaining witness in this case, not to be in possession of any weapons, and not to go back to this Walmart. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
If you violate any of these conditions, I will revoke your bond, put you in jail. You will not get any more PR bonds. Tell me, what do you do for a living, man?
What I do?
Yes.
I'm a handicapped person, and I try to get my parking. I'm waiting for
Okay,
somebody.
I don't want to talk about the case. Do you have the ability to hire a lawyer?
No, I don't have a job right now. I'm starting working today.
How do you support yourself?
I have an unemployment paycheck, and I'm doing Uber Eats sometimes because my car is not in good conditions.
Sorry?
My car is not in good conditions.
Are you married?
I'm married, but he left me 4 years ago. My husband.
You said 4 years ago?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you want to apply for a court-appointed lawyer, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. Let me make sure we don't have it in the file. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to have you, we're going to give you an application for an appointed lawyer. And have you go to Victoria, sign a reset. After that, I'll have you take a seat in the jury box. Do not leave until you sign our bond conditions prohibiting you from going to this Walmart, no weapons and no contact with this person, okay? Tell me, do you have a Texas driver license?
Yes, sir.
You do? Okay. All right, please. So can you file all those conditions, please?
Chavez, David.
I would say it's just to that particular Walmart, just to all Walmarts, like a.
Yes, Your Honor.
Page 3, Chavez, David.
Good morning, Mr. Chavez. You speak English?
Here, Judge.
Well, we have Luis here, so he's coming. Hi, good morning. How are you? Okay, Mr. Chavez, you are charged with failure to stop and give information, which is leaving the scene of an accident without exchanging information. You are facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you.
Your Honor, for Mr. Chavez David, I have been charged with DWI.
That's what I had.
Oh, it's David. I have a Kevin. Sorry, David, you're charged with DWI. My fault. You're facing up, well, you're still facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine, but it's not an FSGI. It's a DWI.
Yes, sir. Officers are dispatched to Sam Houston Parkway in Harris County, Texas. After an off-duty officer observed the defendant swerving between lanes and almost striking 3 vehicles. The wheel witness stated he observed a strong odor of alcoholic beverage from the defendant after getting him to pull over. Officers arrived and the defendant admitted to drinking 2 beers. The officers also observed that the defendant had unsteady balance and glossy eyes. Standard field sobriety tests were conducted. HGN 6 out of 6. Walk and turn 8 out of 8. one leg stand, 3 out of 4. The DIC was red, and defendant consented to correct. The results were 0.150 and 0.143.
Mr. Chavez, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. Tell me, are you a United States citizen?
I'm fixing it.
So you're not in the United States? Are you in this country with or without permission?
Without permission.
Do you know what happens if you go to jail?
¿Sabe qué le pasa si va a la cárcel?
Sí.
Yes.
What? Don't tell him. Don't tell him, Mr. Chavez. I want you to tell me what happens if you go to jail.
Usted si va a la cárcel. Well, I don't know.
Immigration sweeps the jail on a daily basis, every couple hours. If they find you in the jail, they will put an immigration detainer on you and you will be stuck in custody until first this case is over with, and then you will be shipped off to immigration. And then you're going to sit there another 6 months, 9 months waiting for what they're going to do. If you do not want that to happen, do not violate these conditions. First off, I'm ordering you not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or any kind of drugs, I'm going to put you in jail. Likewise, if you do not have a Texas driver license, I'm ordering you not to drive. Do you understand? If you violate these conditions, like I said, I'm going to revoke your bond and I'm going to raise it up. And if you're in there for any more than 3 to 4 hours, immigration will put a detainer on you and then you can't get out. Heed this warning because you will not get another one. Do you understand? That's okay.
So we may be upgrading this to a DWI second per defendant's criminal history. It looks like there's a conviction for DWI out of Florida in 2001. I just wanted to let you know. And if the defendant is allowed to drive, if he does have a valid license, we are going to ask for it.
Well, let me ask you, does he have a Texas driver license?
Oh, he doesn't, Judge Donis. Nothing he's doing like, no, he doesn't, Judge. And Judge, I'd like first confirmation on that, Florida. DWI, if it is in fact a conviction, I don't know anything about that.
Do you have a DWI from Florida as well?
Tiene una condena de manejar mientras intoxicado de Florida.
Sí, hace mucho tiempo.
Yes, a long time ago.
Okay.
There we go.
I'm going to order you to take and have a handheld interlock device that you're going to take with you to prove to us that you're not consuming alcohol. This is important because what you need to understand is that when you have a prior DWI, they can use that to enhance you to a second DWI, and then everything doubles up as far as punishment is concerned. Everything. Now, I'm ordering you not to drive any vehicle that doesn't have an interlock. We're going to send notice to DPS. So if you get into a car and drive and you get pulled over, an officer in their little computer, they're going to see you need an interlock, and if you don't have one, they're going to put you in jail. And then you're in violation of these conditions. Do not drive. Now, I'm going to give you a handheld portable device to prove to us that you're not consuming alcohol. You will be signing an affidavit with me today, promising me that you're not going to drive any vehicle. Do you understand? I take it extremely serious. You are out there in the free world now. You're walking on very thin ice. Be careful what you do, who you go with, and what you put in your body. Because one false move, I'm going to keep you with me. Do you understand? Forewarned is fair warned. You have a great lawyer with you now. You need to listen to him and he will take care of you. Because you have a lawyer, I will waive your appearance. You do not have to waste your time coming to court, but you must stay in touch. And he will tell you if and when you have to come back to court. If he tells me that you are not communicating with him, then likewise, I will issue a warrant for your arrest. Do you have any questions, sir?
No.
No.
Okay, so for now, we'll have you come over here, swear to us that you're not gonna drive. We'll have you sign a reset, and then you'll be on your way. You'll have to meet with pretrial as well, but good luck to you, Mr. Chavez. Okay, thank you, counsel.
Judge, we have another Spanish arraignment.
Okay,
Chavez, Kevin, page 3.
coming up.
I'm trying, Linus. I am
You
trying.
were Ke-
My attorney's not here. Hi, here, Kevin Chavez.
Do you have a lawyer, Mr. Chavez?
Yes.
Who is your lawyer?
¿Quién es?
Good look, yeah.
Rodolfo Cantú.
Okay, I don't know where they are. What we'll do, we're
Understand.
going to do probable cause now. After that, we'll just have you take a seat while we wait for your lawyer to get here, and then we can talk to him. But we need to get moving, and I have no idea what time they're gonna get here. So, Mr. Chavez, you're charged with failure to stop and give information. You are facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Officers were dispatched from a minor accident in Harris County, Texas. The complainant stated that he was entering an intersection when the defendant failed to abide by the stop sign and yielded to the complainant. The complainant stated that he did not have a stop sign at the intersection, and then the defendant left the location without providing his information. The complainant provided officers with a photo of the defendant's license plate, and the officers traveled to the address connected to the vehicle's registration. When the officers arrived and observed a group of people outside trying to fix the damage to the defendant's vehicle, the complainant admitted to driving and that he left the scene because he believed the accident was not his fault. The complainant estimates the damage to his car to be approximately $3,000.
Thank you, Casey. Thank
Mr.
you.
Chavez, I'm
thank
gonna
you.
find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. Sir, are you a United States citizen?
No,
Are you in this country with or without permission?
without permission.
You need to understand that if you go to jail, immigration will find you there. They will put an immigration detainer on you, and you will be stuck in custody for the next 6 to 9 months. If you do not want that to happen, follow these conditions that I put on your bond. Because if you violate these conditions, I will revoke your bond, put you in jail. You will not get any more PR bonds. Do you understand?
Okay.
Do you have a Texas driver license?
No. License ID.
Look at me.
Just that ID.
You are not allowed to drive. And I'm making that now a condition of your bond. I don't care what is going on in your life. Until you get approval from us, which necessitates a Texas driver license, do not drive for any reason. Do
Extradition.
you understand?
Yes.
You will be signing with me today a promise to me that you're going to make that you're not to drive. This is an affidavit, a sworn document that you will make now. After that, because you have a lawyer, I will waive your appearance, but you must stay in touch with Mr. Cantu,
43 degrees is not cold.
and he will tell you if and when you have to come back to court.
It's definitely not downright cold.
If Mr. Cantu tells me he can't get a hold of you because you're ducking and dodging phone calls, likewise, I will issue a warrant for your arrest. Do not pick up any new cases and behave yourself while you're in my county. I'm going to do everything to protect my county. If you become a danger to it, there's only one place you will go. So for now, I'm gonna have you come up here, swear to us, you're not gonna drive. I'll get you to Victoria, sign a reset, and then we'll have you wait for your lawyer to show up. Do not leave until he shows up. Please.
Judge, we have another Spanish.
Okay.
Deleon Garcia. Page 5.
Thank you.
Mr. De Leon Garcia, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. It's elevated to a Class A misdemeanor because of the high blow. You are facing up to a year in jail and a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Officers were dispatched to a crash and met with the witness who stated she was driving on the feeder of the Katy freeway when the defendant came out of nowhere, driving in the opposite direction and struck her and did not stop. The complainant chased the driver to a Home Depot and reported the incident. Officers observed a strong odor of alcoholic beverage on his breath and glossy eyes. Standard field sobriety tests were conducted. HGN was 6 out of 6. Walk and turn.
I don't even put a coat on when it's 41.
Turned 3 out of 8. One leg stand 2 out of 4. The DIC was red and the defendant consented to breath. The results were 0.176 and 0.185. The defendant also admitted to drinking at Ojos Locos.
Okay, Mr. De Leon Garcia, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. Are you a United States citizen? Are you in this country with or without permission?
By permission.
Do you have a Texas driver license?
No.
You need to understand that if you go to jail and immigration finds you in the jail, sir, they're going to put an immigration detainer on you and you will be stuck in custody until this case is over with, and then you will be shipped off to immigration. If you do not want that to happen, then don't violate these conditions. You have already missed court one time. The next time you miss court, I'm going to make your bond very high. Do you understand? I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or prescribed controlled medication. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or any kind of illegal drugs, I'll put you in jail. I'm also ordering you as a condition not to drive any vehicle whatsoever. This is the most important one, Mr. De Leon Garcia. If I find that you're driving, and I don't care what your excuse is, because I'm going to have you sign with me today an affidavit. Look, this is a sworn document that you're going to make this morning, promising me that you're not going to drive. Heed this warning, because you will not get another one. For now, I'm going to have you come up here, swear to us that you're not going to drive. After that, I'm going to get you to Victoria. We will have you sign a reset, and then we're going to have you take a seat and wait for your lawyer to arrive. Do not leave until I excuse you. You understand? Okay. All right.
Judge, we had one more Spanish arraignment.
Ay, ay,
No.
ay. You're abusing me.
Hernandez.
Jorge Hernandez. Mr. Hernandez, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. Second offense, you're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you.
Officers observed the defendant failed to signal and initiated a traffic stop in Harris County, Texas. The officers observed the defendant to have glassy eyes and an odor of alcoholic beverage. Standard field sobriety tests were conducted. HGM 6 out of 6. Walk and turn 0 out of 8. One leg stand 2 out of 4. The DIC was red and the defendant consented to arrest. The results were 0.086 and 0.086.
You said, what was the stop?
Stop was failing to signal.
Mr. Hernandez, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. Are you a United States citizen? You have a Texas driver license?
Yes.
License. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or any kind of illegal drugs, I'm going to put you in jail.
He's helpful, Your Honor. Es elegible su
I am now placing another restriction on your driver's license. You are not allowed to drive any vehicle that is not equipped with an ignition interlock. If you're caught driving a vehicle that doesn't have an interlock, likewise, I will revoke your bond, put you in jail. You understand?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Que vi aquí que tengo por segundo y es mi primer DWI.
I saw here that I was charged as a second, but it's my first DWI.
You're charged with a second DWI.
Está acusado como segundo.
So you need a lawyer, and that your lawyer can help you out if you think that's a mistake. I don't know, but that's not what I'm not here to do that right now. But when you need a lawyer, and your lawyer can go to bat for you on that regard. What I know now is that you're charged with a second offense. As a result, on all second offenses, we put an ignition interlock on you. If you're caught driving a vehicle that doesn't have an interlock, I'm telling you, you're going to go to jail. We will give you a couple days to get it on, but don't drive any vehicle that doesn't have an interlock. Do you understand?
Okay.
Also, no, don't consume alcohol or illegal drugs. So for now, I'm gonna have you go to Victoria, sign a reset. After that, you'll get with pre-trial for your bond conditions, and then we're gonna get you out of here to hire a lawyer. Don't sit and wait for a lawyer because there's a lot of timing requirements with the DWI. I would talk to a lawyer immediately about your case. You understand? Okay, please.
Great, Judge Myers on page 15.
Wait, do they?
Yeah, that's his.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Morning, Judge Myers. Hey, good morning.
Yes, Judge, on page 15.
Got it. Thanks. Wait, do you have a lawyer, Mr. Myers-Kearney?
Oh, sir. Well, I'm not sure.
Are you Myers?
Yes, ma'am.
Mirren?
Where did?
You talking about Mirren?
Scored thing
Myers.
in there.
Mirren,
Oh, I thought you said
Okay,
Myers.
take a seat for me.
Javier Mirren, Judge. And Judge, I did speak.
Deputy, can you help him? He needs to go to the jury box.
And Judge, I did speak with the state judge. This is charged as a second. He had a first charge of DWI out of Oklahoma in 2001, which was pled down to their equivalent to reckless driving. I spoke to them. They're going to get an investigator to search it up because they couldn't find on CCH. But just letting the court know that they charged it as a second, but it should be coming back as a first.
Okay.
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Marion, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. Second offense, you're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On October 12th, 2024, officers were dispatched in reference to a traffic hazard in Harris County, Texas. The officer observed the defendant's vehicle parked on the east side of the highway.
Now, you're just old and slow, and I beat you.
Highway with the front end facing west. The officer observed the defendant, the driver and sole occupant to be asleep with the engine on. The officer knocked on the defendant's side window and gave the order to exit the motor vehicle. The defendant stated he was on Interstate 35, operated his motor vehicle on the roadway, had 4 beers, and was coming from a concert in the Woodlands. The officer observed a moderate odor of alcoholic beverage, bloodshot eyes, slurred speech, disorientation, sluggishness, an unzipped zipper, and the officer later observed a large pool of urine in the rear seat of the patrol vehicle, and the defendant had a wet stream going down his pant legs. The standard field sobriety tests were administered, HGN 6 out of 6, walk and turn 3 out of 8, one leg stand 3 out of 4. The defendant was read the DIC and refused breath. A blood search warrant was obtained and executed.
Mr. Marion, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. Do you have a valid Texas driver license?
I do.
Earn his license, please. Do you have valid liability insurance in your name? Okay, I'm now placing a restriction on your driver's license that you're not allowed to drive any vehicle that doesn't have an ignition interlock on it. If you're caught driving a vehicle that doesn't have an interlock, I'm going to put you in jail. You will not get any more PR bonds. Likewise, I'm ordering you not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or any kind of drugs, you will go to jail.
Yes, Your Honor.
Understand?
Yes, I do. Your Honor, he's eligible.
Great. Because you have a lawyer, I will waive your appearance, but you must stay in touch with counsel and they will tell you if and when you have to come back to court. They tell me they can't get a hold of you because you're playing games. I will issue a warrant for your arrest.
Absolutely,
You
Your
pick
Honor.
up a new charge, violate conditions, no more PR bonds.
I understand.
Okay, all right. Bye, guys. Hey. You just want a normal reset? Are you gonna represent him upstairs?
When those cases become active, they're not active cases.
Your Honor,
Okay.
they're not open warrants at this moment. There apparently, there's some, looks like possibly a judge is waiting to sign on, but they're not active warrants, so that's why he's back
Judge,
in
if I
the
may,
box.
the hearing officer didn't sign the complaint to me, so that's why it's still going on the warrant step.
That. What is his name again?
Mr. Cormier is the last name.
It's the 248, Your Honor.
Is that, Unger? Since you guys are here, do you want me to just have her sign it?
I would prefer her to read it and see if she's gonna get to PC or not on the case.
Well, that, I meant,
Yeah.
of course, that's what I meant.
Yes.
Like, because for her to read the 2B, to sign it, whether she's going to or not, since you're here.
I mean, they're in trial right now. That's the other issue. So like I've been up there.
You see, it looked like Mr. Cormier has 2 felony warrants for an ag assault and ag assault with a deadly weapon, but they haven't been signed.
Interesting. When did they get filed?
10/10. Today's 18th, so they've been pending for.
I don't know what to say.
You mind bringing him out?
He's in the box.
Come up, Mr. Cormier. I mean, I'm showing the ag assault is active though.
Because in the system, it will show that because it was filed, but the actual arrest warrant has not been signed by a judge establishing that there's probable cause for his arrest.
So the J web, it doesn't reflect the open.
Right. And he actually got arrested and they let him out of jail because of this issue. And the magistrate obviously reviewed that.
Crazy.
As well,
I mean,
yeah.
This is.
Judge, we're gonna contact Intech to see what the issue may or may not be at this point. Hold up, we're doing that right now.
While you guys are doing that, we're gonna do probable cause in our case. Mr. Cormier, you're charged with interference with the duties of a public servant. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On February 4th, 2024, officers conducted a traffic stop for the defendant failing to signal when changing lanes. The officer made contact with the defendant and told him why he was pulled over. The officer identified him with his driver's license and ran the defendant and discovered the defendant had multiple warrants. The officer asked the defendant to step out of the vehicle multiple times, but the defendant continued to ask why. The officer told the defendant if he did not comply, he would be removed from the vehicle, which the defendant replied, "I guess we can try that shit." The defendant eventually stepped out of the vehicle, but the officer attempted to detain him, and the defendant kept pulling his hands away from the officers and kept trying to turn around to the officer.
Guys, please help a girl out and hit that like button so she can just relax. She worked so hard for that.
Officers could not place handcuffs on him. The officer eventually detained the defendant and walked him over to the patrol vehicle, but the officers had to use force to get the defendant inside the back of the unit, due to the defendant using his body and the door frame to actively push away from the patrol unit.
Kelly, you're awesome.
What happened with the felony cases? I'd like to know how dangerous of a person Mr. Cormier is.
Yes, Your Honor. We have on October 9th, 2024, the officers were dispatched to a shooting call at a residence. The officers met with the complainant, who stated he got into an argument with the defendant that turned into a fight. The next day, the complainant got into an argument with the defendant's father that turned into a fight, but that was later reconciled. The defendant, however, was still angry and told the complainant that he wanted to fight, pulled a pistol out of his waistband, pointed at the complainant, and discharged the pistol. The shot missed and the defendant—
Discharged a pistol pointing at someone?
Yes, Your Honor. And then following the shot missing, the defendant ran away, and a 3-year-old child was in the vicinity of the complainant where the shot was pointed at, and the mother is a witness to the events.
Is that part and parcel with the deadly weapon as well, or is that a different?
It is. One moment, Your Honor. It's part and parcel, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Cormier, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case in our case. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to have any contact with the complaining witness in this case and not to be in possession of weapons. You have a Texas driver license. You are not allowed to drive. If I find that you drive, I will have a contempt hearing. You'll be facing an additional 6 months. I'm going to have you sign an affidavit with me today promising you're not going to drive. Do you understand? If you want to drive, go get a license, get liability insurance, and then I can take this off. But until that point, do not drive. I'm also ordering you not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs, and I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or any kind of dope, I'm going to put you in jail. Do you understand? Let me make something perfectly clear to you. I'm going to do everything in my power to protect every person of Harris County. If I find that you become a danger, I'm going to revoke your bond and I'm going to make it sky high. Do you understand?
Sir.
I think Lori
On this affidavit, I'm
smiles.
also going to have that you
I think Lori smiles today. I think.
are not to be in possession of any weapons. If I find that you have a weapon, likewise, I will have a contempt hearing. Do you understand? So I don't know what's going to happen now. I want to see what they say first about, because Mr. Living, he scares me.
If that is
You
just
know?
at this point in time, there is no warrant.
I get it,
So
but I don't know what,
holding him in a courtroom with no warrant is kind of my issue with it, if that makes sense.
I get it. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send him for a drug test. I want to know what, if anything, he has in his system, and then I'm going to have him come right back.
Okay.
You need to go take a drug test right now, and then you must come back. If you fail to go take the drug test, if you fail to come back, I'm going to issue a warrant for your arrest. And I'm going to tell you now, no more PR bonds. Do you understand? Okay. Come on.
He absolutely does. Very much so.
Right, Judge, page
100%.
7. Ely, Samara? If you could please raise your right hand, sir. Do you swear or affirm that you will not be laid out? Yes. Take this way. Sign for your reset.
Okay, that's fine.
Vic, what's
Page 7, Ely, EALY.
Oh, Lord. Miss Ely, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine.
The bailiff dropped the ball. They're not allowed to put their purse there. They got to put all their stuff right here. Get them, Judge.
You have a lawyer today?
No, I thought I off, what's it called, a public defender, but I don't know.
Okay. Take a seat for me at the jury box, man. Mr. Legrand, do you have an arraignment? Hey, yeah, do you have an arraignment?
I do not. I've got a case that's on the docket. Was supposed to be for DWI dismissal, but we're going to extend him, I believe. Mr. Miguel Cristobal.
I need to talk to him though. Is he here?
He's here.
Okay, so bear with me. Let me blow through the arraignments real quick.
Sure.
Do you have anywhere else to go?
I've got one other court to go to, but my client has not appeared yet, so.
Here.
Yeah, well, they're different.
Oh, and the other one. All right, let me try to blow through the arraignments real quick, and then I need to talk to your guy to see how we're going to go forward.
No
Okay?
problem. I can wait.
Thanks.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, Vic, you ready? I put her in the jury box. Can you appoint her a lawyer? Please, her case is 1,400 days old. It's time to, yeah. I saw one. You mean on Diaz?
Blocks are mostly plastic.
He took off from both of those?
With images, the GOV is back in February, and now a PR bond.
Okay.
Okay, next one, Judge, is page 7 and 8, co-defendants, Earl and Flores. Come on up.
Gentlemen, both of you are charged with racing on a highway. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you.
Also observed 5 to 6 cars traveling at a high rate of speed and chasing each other on a freeway in Harris County, Texas. The officer observed 4 cars in each of the 4 lanes matching each other's speed approximately 50 miles per hour until they were aligned. And then the 2 cars in the middle took off at a high rate of speed at approximately 100 miles per hour. A traffic stop was initiated on defendant Earl's vehicle. During the traffic stop, officer observed that the entirety of the inside of the vehicle was removed except the driver's seat. Defendant Earl admitted to participating in the race. Another officer conducted a traffic stop on the other participating car. That occupant also admitted to participating in a drag race.
You said there were happening to those 2.
Your Honor, there are no other connected cases, just the 2.
Got it. Mr. Earl, this is your 2nd racing case. I am now taking away your privilege to drive. You will be signing an affidavit with me today, promising me you're not going to drive. And if I find that you drive, I will have a contempt hearing. You'll be facing an additional 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you get into a car and drive. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do not drive. I don't care what you're doing in your life. I don't care where you have to go, what you have to do. I now also am sending you for a drug test. I want to know what, if anything, is in your system, and then you're to come right back. If I find that you don't take the test, if you don't come back, I will issue a warrant for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Take a seat.
I do have a question. May I have a reset to hire my attorney? I wasn't able to hire him today.
We will get there.
Okay.
First things first, I'm sending you for a drug test because I want to know what, if anything, is in your system. But first, you'll come up here and swear to us that you're not going to drive. Mr. Flores, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm going to tell you now, living in a city as big as Houston without the ability to drive, it's an awful thing. Do not participate in these types of things again. Otherwise, I will take your privilege to drive away from you. Do you understand? You will be signing conditions with me today, promising me that you're not going to race, street takeovers, donuts, reckless driving, any of the like. If I find that you do, I'm going to put you in jail. You will not get any more PR bonds. Do you understand? Okay. can you file conditions on both of their cases? for the
Yes, Your Honor.
Racing and the like? Yeah. All right, I'm going to have you go, or could you check for both of the licenses to see if do you have a Texas driver license? Do you have liability insurance in your name? Okay, if you can run both of their licenses as well.
Yes, Your Honor.
So for now, I'm gonna have you sign a reset with Victoria. After that, we'll have you take a seat in the jury box while we get your bond conditions, we'll have you sign it, and then you'll be free to go. When you come back, please have a lawyer, sir.
I have a lawyer.
Oh, yeah, who is it?
David Lee.
Got it. Okay. Mr. Lee's gonna be here, so we're gonna have you wait till he gets here. So we'll have you sign a reset, take a seat in the jury box. Do not leave until you sign the bond conditions.
You know whose fault that is, right? Anybody want to guess whose fault that is, Linus?
Your Honor, Flores is eligible. Let me run. Earl, please.
All right, Judge, page 8 and 9, Kennedy, Peter, come on up.
I know.
I thought, did we not deal with Kennedy?
We just had to reactivate something. I just wanted to get that all over.
And Your Honor, quickly, Earl is eligible as well.
Got it. Okay. So let's just do the same conditions that we had before.
Council was aware of that, so that's why.
Okay, so we'll just have you take a seat in the jury box so we get your bond condition, and then we'll have you sign it. Yeah, please.
Judge, page 9, Gutierrez.
Alexis Gutierrez. Mr. Gutierrez, you're charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. You're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
On October 11th, 2024, officers conducted a traffic stop on the defendant's motor vehicle at an intersection after observing it with an expired registration. Upon contact with the defendant advised he had a firearm in the vehicle. Officers located the firearm in the cup holder in plain view of the center console, unholstered.
Okay. What was the stop for again? I missed it.
The stop for was expired registration.
Got it. All right. Mr. Gutierrez, how old are you, sir?
22.
What do you do for a living?
I own my own mobile detailing business.
Okay. Do you have a Texas driver license? Do you have valid liability insurance in your name?
The vehicle is not registered to my name. It's my dad's.
Do you have car insurance in your name?
Not under my name.
If you don't have car insurance in your name, you cannot drive. I'm making that a condition of your bond, and I'm ordering you not to be in possession of a weapon as well. Do you understand? As long
Donald, how are you feeling? Did you sleep at all? Are you on meds? What hurts? Are you okay?
means you can abide by these conditions, you and I will be fine. But if I find that you drive in violation of this court order, then I'm going to put you in jail. How much money do you make a month?
I'm making right now, since I'm new to this business, I'm only making around $300 a week. So that's $1,200 a month.
And who do you live with?
I live with my
You think you can afford a lawyer, sir?
I do have a lawyer.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Who's your lawyer?
It's if you let me pull out the files there on my phone.
Sure. Let me see if he's. Oh, hey, hi, David.
Hey, how are you doing?
So he doesn't have car insurance, and I was not going to let him drive until he has car insurance in his name. I'd also ordered him not to be in possession of weapons. He's a 22-year-old kid.
Okay.
Those are the only conditions. And once you get car insurance, show me that you have car insurance, we'll allow you to drive. All I'm asking you to do is follow the law. Just get car insurance, it's in your name, and then we'll take the restriction off. If you can get it today, I'll take it off today. Okay, so, call your folks or whatever you need to do, or whoever pays for the insurance. If they can add you now, I'll take the restriction off now.
Okay, thank you.
You've got a great lawyer. Listen to Mr. Bresson. He'll take care of you. I will waive your appearance so you don't have to waste your time coming to court, but you have to stay in touch with them, and they'll tell you when you have to come back to court. Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Stay out of trouble. Don't pick up any new cases. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, let me just do this real quick, and then we'll have you sign it, and then you guys are on your own.
Oh, wait, 1 second.
So can you file conditions no weapons, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'll have you come up here, swear to set Josh in the drive. Have you go to Victoria, sign a reset, then we'll have you take a seat in the jury box while we get your bond conditions. We'll have you sign the conditions and then you're free to go. All right.
Harrison, Johnny, Gutierrez. Page 10.
So you Johnny Harrison. Mr. Harrison, you're charged with driving while intoxicated, second offense. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. You're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present if you cannot afford one. One will be appointed to you, sir.
One moment, Your Honor.
Sure.
This was Mr. Harrison.
Correct.
Officers observed the defendant failing to maintain a single lane and braking in the middle of the road for no apparent reason. A traffic stop was initiated. The officers observed red eyes, slurred speech, and an odor of an alcoholic beverage. The defendant stated he had consumed 1 beer and standard field sobriety tests were conducted. HGN was 6 out of 6. The defendant advised he had neuropathy in both feet and thus did not perform the walk and turn or one-leg stand. During the inventory of the vehicle, officers discovered 2 bottles of vodka in the car, 1 empty and 1 half full, and a cup with an alcoholic mixture next to the center console of the car.
So alcohol in the car while driving?
Yes, Your Honor. And the defendant was read the DIC and consented to breath. The results were 0.227 and 0.226.
Who's going to be the one to telling us that there are really no really good bike paths on the road in Houston? It's just not bicycle friendly at all. Where she is, everything is bicycle friendly. It's just not car friendly.
Mr. Harrison, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm now ordering you as a condition of your bond not to drive any vehicle. Do you understand? Because it's a second offense, I'm also ordering you to obtain a handheld interlock device that you're going to take with you everywhere you go to prove to me that you're not consuming alcohol. If I find that you're consuming alcohol, I'm going to put you in jail. You will not get any more PR bonds. I'm going to advise you now that I'm sending notice to DPS that they're aware that any vehicle you drive is supposed to have an interlock. So if you're caught driving a vehicle and it doesn't have an interlock on it, they will put you in jail and then you're in violation of these conditions. Do you understand?
Sorry, I have a question.
Shoot.
This type of thing where I had that before, and I didn't do well with the interlock because I had to keep changing my battery. Like it kept killing my battery. So I got in trouble the first time. So they gave me that thing where I had to blow into it. I did it like 3 times a day.
You're not allowed to drive from this day forth. Do not drive. You will be signing an affidavit with me today promising me you're not going to drive. You will get a handheld portable device that you're taking with you everywhere you go to prove to me that you're not consuming alcohol. Do you understand? If you consume alcohol, you will go to jail. No more PR bonds. Do you understand? All right, I'm gonna have you come up, swear test that you're not gonna drive. I'm gonna get you to Victoria to sign a reset. Eventually you'll get with pre-chopper your bond conditions, and then after that, we'll get you out of here to go hire a lawyer. Don't wait, because if you wait too long to hire a lawyer, you're only hurting yourself. I would get on it quick. please.
Hewitt, come on up.
All right, guys, we made it to the end. I gotta stop now because I got a double. I got 2 doubles in a row, and I have to try to get a little bit of sleep, maybe. Yo, no, don't. I thought he pulled the sound out. My cats. Okay. Oh. Linus is really coming, guys. It's only a couple days away. I can't wait. Oh my gosh. I wonder why. Maybe you should stay out of Discord. All right. No Judge Fleischer today because it's the weekend. I know this. I'm not going to see you in a couple hours. Hi, Braden. So, be good. Go into Discord. Talk. I'll be in Discord today because I'm working a double and I have nothing else to do at work. But talk to you guys in Discord. Stay off prawn sites. Prawns are bad. Cha, I'm glad you have power back. I hope you have a great day too. Yes, Nan, I'm gonna go try to sleep. I'm gonna try my best to sleep. I hope Nan's doing it. Yep, Nan, you doing okay with your bread? I can smell it from here, you know. All right. Kelly, it's your fault. You know everything. Okay. And my outro. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much for coming out. Don't forget to watch that other video. You won't regret it. It's really good. Bye, guys.
Got these lights that goes digital dreams. Through the screen, her blue eyes gleam. Wicked humor, sharp as a knife. Her stream sparks electric light. Late night when the world sleeps, she's the friend that always keeps. Giggles roll like thunder loud. She stands out in any crowd. Kathy's laugh cuts through the gloom. Eyes blue like a summer's bloom. Her humor, dark and twisted charm. In a way, there's no alarm. Dream tales late into the night. Her laughter feels just right. Even when my world turns gray, with a giggle she lights the way. Her eyes mirror sky so blue. In her jokes there's a truth so true. With each stream she brings the light, turns dark days into bright. Kathy's laugh cuts through the gloom. Eyes blue like a summer's bloom. Her humor, dark and twisted charm. In a way, there's no alarm. Streaming tales late into the night. Her laughter feels just right. Even when my world turns gray, with a giggle she lights the way. Kathy's laugh cuts through the gloom. Eyes blue like a summer's bloom. Her humor, dark and twisted charm. In a way, there's no alarm.